What is going on, Crow fam? Hope you're having a good day out there today. Welcome to the Crow Bros stream. I think this is the third stream that we got going on now. I'm just going to bring up the chat. Welcome everybody. This is going to be the first time I'm just testing a little bit of music. A bit of copyright-free music here out on the channel. Let me know if it's too loud or even if you don't enjoy it. I'm just going to see how it sounds actually. Copyright-free music here out on the channel. Let me know if it's too loud or even if you don't. I don't even know if you can hear it, but should be right. Alright. Right guys, so we're here. Let's jump in. We're going to do a bit of checking out the Crow token. We're going to be looking a bit at Bitcoin, maybe taking a little bit of a look at Zcash, but mainly Bitcoin and Crow. Alright, the broader markets, anything else going on. Folks, this stream is always brought to you by Bitunix, guys. So if you're someone that trades, whether it's spot or leverage, come over and do it on Bitunix, guys. The link to do it will be at the chat. It's the pinned chat comment right there, and it'll also be in the stream description right at the top there. I got a 20% bonus going on at the moment, meaning if you're somebody that jumps in and actually deposits 200 bucks, you're going to get 40 US dollars back, and you can read the rest, guys. You deposit 500, get 100 back. Deposit 1000, get 200 back. Deposit 2000, get 400 back. So it's a bit of a limited time deal. Kind of changes up a little bit from month to month. What's going on, Zar Crypto? Thanks for jumping in, mate. One of the moderators here. Great to have you here, son. And yeah, that's basically how it rolls. So if you want to go ahead and get signed up, go ahead and do it. And yeah, folks, the purpose of these streams are essentially to just give you a bit of information, what I'm seeing in the markets in terms of the CRO price, the Bitcoin price, and any other potential hot altcoins where we can get a few nice potential trades in, as well as also just checking out what's going on with the general market, because that's also going to be pretty important to help us make any ongoing decisions about whether we want to get in or out of the market. Alright, so I'll probably stream maybe for about 30 minutes today. Streamed for about an hour and a half the couple nights ago. I think we skipped last night, but yeah, had a bit of a big day today, had a few things to do, so wasn't able to get on, unfortunately. And also, folks, if you're someone that wants to go ahead and actually farm the Aster airdrop as well, there's actually a current Aster airdrop going on at the moment. I won't go on about Aster too much right now, but I do feel like Aster is probably the top privacy coin pick you could go for at the moment. Zcash has already had a massive run. Aster token is essentially fully backed by the Binance cartel, backed by CZ, and you can't really go wrong. So if you're someone that's, I think, kind of willing to trade a bit of futures and you want to use a privacy DEX, all right, you don't want to do a KYC necessarily, you can come over, connect your MetaMask, and actually trade over here on AsterDex and start farming this airdrop right now. So again, guys, the link for this one will actually be in the stream description. Sorry guys, I'm very tired, just had my newborn. If you do want to get involved in that, guys, we're on stage 4 at the moment. You can come and join my team. And yeah, there's no real strings with this one, guys. If you're someone that wants to come and trade perpetuals in a decentralized manner, get over here, start trading, and you're going to be getting basically an allocation of Aster token at the end of each season. For season 2 was the last one I did, and I did season 3 as well, but for season 2 I got about $400 worth of Aster for really not too much volume at all in terms of my trading. And you got to think, guys, Aster token I'm seeing as a potential 10x in this market. Alright, so that's just one there for you as well, folks. Okay, so let's just jump straight back into this, shall we? And the first thing I just want to quickly draw your attention to here is the Fed decision in September. So this is slowly creeping up. Okay, so the Fed, Jerome Powell there has set quite a dovish tone recently, and we're looking at about an 85% chance of a rate cut, which is good for markets. The last two haven't been amazing in terms of price action. Perhaps we already saw a lot of that price action priced in, and perhaps we're going to see this priced into the price of BTC maybe 2 to 3 weeks prior to the actual Fed rate cut. Maybe even now. It's hard to say exactly when it'll happen, but essentially there's an 83% chance of a 25 basis point cut, as we can see there, and there is a 2% chance of a 50 basis point cut here. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's have a bit of a quick look at BTC, because it has just made quite a run up at the moment and is actually pushing up right now quite aggressively. We're on the 15-minute chart here. We'll zoom out, have a look at the daily, and then bring it down a little bit as we come in. Currently sitting at 87,649. And for, those who are maybe a little bit new to trading or just crypto in general, it's pretty important to get a bit of an idea of the trend before we start looking at trades. But essentially, folks, this is a channel where you can educate yourself in a basic way here. I've also got another CRO bro that I'm hoping is going to make their appearance pretty soon, possibly in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be doing a bit of cool conversational stuff. We're two CRO bros, meaning we're going to be talking about the Kronos community, and just kind of giving you a bit more education on trading and just some cool stuff, anything to do with Kronos and things like that. So I'm going to try and keep these stream pretty consistent for the time being for you guys anyway. Okay, so let's go out and just have a quick squiz at the daily chart, and then I'll actually show you where we left in terms of the price that I had marked out on the previous stream I did a couple nights ago, and see how we reacted from there. So on the daily chart here for CRO, it looks like we could potentially be in the beginning of an uptrend. As we can see, we bottomed out here on the 21st of November. We actually got to a price of about 80. Oh no, that's Bitcoin. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, we're talking about Bitcoin still. My bad. Yeah, so we hit a low there of about 80,000. Okay, 726. Right, according to this chart. I actually feel like we went lower than that. I thought we went to like 79, 78. But yeah, we went to about 80,000, and since then, let's just have a bit of a look. Trace it out from about here to today's current price. So actually we've pushed up about 8.92%, which is 5 daily bars, 5 days in total, 8.92% up for Bitcoin. So this actually hasn't really happened in a while. This hasn't really happened in a while, and okay, no one's got a crystal ball here, but I feel as though we are quite close to the bottom. There's a lot of longer term indicators that could possibly suggest that, but what I would say is the longer I think that we spend kind of like below 90k and 100k, the more likely it is that we do potentially enter into a longer term bear market. So yeah, we kind of need to get out of this zone. We kind of need to ideally break above 87, 88,000. I think for now, if we hold above 87,000, we're kind of good. We're kind of like right on that precipice right now. 87,000 is a pretty important level for us to hold. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think that is as well. But look, again, if we just break it down for the last 5 days, Bitcoin has been in a pretty good spot. Okay, we're up 8.92%, which I like. Okay, that's pretty good. The next resistance here, in accordance with the pivot point here, so these orange lines coming through here, we've got to get over our support 2. This is S2, support 2 here at 90,355. Okay, so I've got to try and break above this level here. Okay, got the auto fib extension on as well. Okay, so that also correlates there with a bit of a take profit zone, meaning that I would say there's going to be a lot of take profit happening at around 90,214 USD around this price. So you can expect a bit of rejection around here, but we haven't even quite gotten up to that area just yet. And then after that on the daily, the next major resistance level, I'd say, based on the EMAs, the main one, the red line that's curling down here, is going to be at 93,644. And that also aligns up with the 0.786 fib extension level on the auto fib using TradingView, which is also there. That's going to be another pretty intense resistance level there. Okay, Then after that, we got support 1. We got a few more EMAs to break through. But really, what we really want to see for Bitcoin on the daily is a pretty big move to the upside. I mean, we're talking essentially getting above this point of control, which is this orange line right here, which is sitting at 113,000. So I really want a clear break of that. So we're talking $114,000 for Bitcoin. I feel as though if we can reach 114,000 on the daily, close first, and then close a consecutive day above that level of 114,000, which would be the confirmation candle on the daily, that really is going to set a firm precedent to say, okay, we are, based on the data and the technicals, definitely back in a bull market right now. Because I can tell you right now, even with this uptick from our bottom here from the 21st of November, 5 days ago, there's still a lot of people that can say that we're in a bear market. There's a lot of valid points. There's valid points for a bull here. There's valid points for a bear here. We're not going to go into every single one. I personally obviously have a bit of bias. I am still in the market generally, mainly with altcoins. I don't hold any Bitcoin at the moment, but I feel like we have bottomed. All right. I hope we have bottomed. All right. But there's also a chance that we haven't. But as I said, the key line to hold is 87,000. Okay. We really need to stay above 87,000 right now. If we start getting daily closes below 87,000, all right, I think things are going to start to look pretty problematic. Okay. But if we can just get above that and then slowly grind our way up to take out the first target, which is 93,556, being the 20 EMA, and this Fibonacci level here, the 0.786 level, then we can start building our way back up from there. All right. And to be honest, you know, it's better if we can see steady growth like what we have seen here rather than too much explosive movement. You know, a lot of these wicks here, for instance, this wick here, okay, like a lot of this I think is just potentially a lot of heavy institutional dumping, like 10% down over 4 days, that kind of thing. It's pretty heavy, right? So that's enough of the daily chart. It's looking bearish on the daily, but we're looking perhaps at the start of a bit of bullish momentum at the bottom, okay, but nothing really confirmed, all right? But that doesn't mean there's still not opportunities potentially on the 4 hour, because if we zoom into the 4 hour, things start to kind of look better again, all right? Now, a really important level that I touched on that was really important that we haven't really been able to break above for a while has been this red line. Again, it's the 20 EMA on the 4 hour chart. As you can see, I covered this in the last stream, but we haven't really been able to break above it and hold successfully for a very long time, okay? We had a point here on the 9th of November, broke over it, okay, for a little bit, but then again we broke down just a few days later. Well, not even just a few days later, that was just 2 days later. All right, we had a breakout there on the 10th, and then broke down again on the 11th, okay? Again, check it out here, okay, 12th of November, had a breakout, okay? But then again, on the same day, we broke down, all right? Again, had another test, all right, over here, check it out, 13th of November, but again, we just broke straight down. Another one here. Didn't even break through. All right, on the 17th, just got rejected again. Tried to go up and test it again, but again, got rejected on the 18th of November. Big low. Again, we tried to break through again on the 20th. Again, rejected. Have a look at this. See how consistent this red line has been. All right, this 20 EMA, it's been very, very consistent. Okay, guys, I've got 5 people in the stream. If you're in here and you're enjoying the analysis on CRO, Bitcoin, other alts, we do put an emphasis on CRO. I am checking out Bitcoin because that is going to have a big impact on the CRO and how it performs, simply because CRO is correlated, for better or worse, with Bitcoin for now. It hasn't quite depegged yet. It does on occasion, but right now it's still pretty heavily correlated. So please do drop a like on the stream, and don't forget to get signed up for Bitunix for that 20% sign up bonus. And I'm also doing a 1,000 CRO giveaway every single week, which we will announce on Friday. The only thing you have to basically do to get involved in that is deposit at least $200, get your 40 bucks, and start trading on futures there. Okay, and we're going to slowly be taking you through how to basically do that in a mature and safe manner using stop loss and take profit. So let's go back to the Bitcoin chart here and have a bit of a look and see what we got going on here. Alright, so basically again, can you see it here? Alright, this here Crow due a 10x soon. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm a believer. I'm a holder in Crow. I think we can get there, bro. All right. But only really if we get all of the Crow bros on the stream. All two. We'll see when that happens, eh? See when he shows up. Alright, so basically if we had a look here, Sunday the 23rd of November, check it out. We had a breakthrough, alright, and this was a pretty important point here for Bitcoin, okay? On the 23rd of November, it's 3 days beyond that now, it's the 26th. But what I can tell you is that from here, look at this. We had a few 4-hour candles where we were like, okay, we're holding above this level pretty good, but then was like, ah shit, we had a breakdown on the 24th, a retest on the 24th on the same day, and I was like, oh shit, I've seen this story before. I was thinking to myself, damn, we are going to probably come down, hit this support line, maybe have a bit of a bounce, and then, you know, seen this picture before. But fortunately, that didn't happen. It didn't match up with the other trends, so we can delete that right now, okay? Because what happened instead, we had a nice little break up, followed by pretty solid correction under the 20 EMA, and then some pretty serious consolidation. But right now, what's most important is excuse me, is this key level here. Again, the red line, the 20 EMA, 87,142 US dollars. This is the line on the 4-hour chart that is extremely important to hold. And right now we're holding firmly above it, and we're actually going up to test the point of control, which is at 87,805. And as you can see, the last few candles have actually been wicking into this point of control, which is great. Okay, we've had a wick here. Okay, when I say wick, I'm saying this candle wick, the thin part of this candle, we call it the candle wick, has been stabbing into this point of control. And this is important because when this happens too many times, eventually, usually what happens, so long as we don't get too many deep wicks or too much sort of deep price action to the downside, usually we can expect a pretty violent move to come to the upside. So I'm liking the fact we got a wick there. We got actually two closes here, as we can see. Okay, we've got a wick here, wick here, wick here, wick here, and yeah, I mean, this is more than a wick here. These are all solid closes just above that level, just straight up. Do you understand? So this is showing to me on the 4-hour chart that the bulls are really trying to muscle back control, and if you just look at the data alone, the bulls are currently in control of the 20 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and this is fantastic. And you know what's going to be really important again? If we can break and close, all right, above the point of control at $87,805. So let's call it as a clean, even number. Yo, what's up, Fit and Crypto? Thanks for jumping in as well. Yes, let's go, Crow fam. Appreciate all of you. So we want to close above 87,805. Okay, so we need to get above this level. We need to get above it. Quite frankly, above 88,000 is where we need to be. Okay, if we can hold above 88,000, all right, that's going to set a good precedent for Bitcoin, the whole crypto market, and especially ROG, Crow token. All right, don't worry, guys. We're going to be getting to Crow token pretty soon and how it's been going. But it is important that we cover this. Now, on the 4-hour chart, the next major resistance level after its 88,000 clean break is going to be 88,516, and that does line up with the 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart right here. Okay, so we need to get up to this zone. Guys, got 5 people in the stream. Appreciate you. Make sure you like the stream if you're a part of the Crow fam. Smash the like button, let me know. And yeah, don't forget to go and get signed up to Bitunix. If you get signed up, deposit at least $200, get your $40 bonus, start trading futures, guys. You'll enter into my 1,000 Crow giveaway. The link's in the chat and in the pinned comments in the chat and also in the stream description. Okay, so basically what we'll do now is go into the 1-hour chart. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so the 1 hour, we are right in the mix with the EMAs right here. We are right up in the mix on the 1-hour chart for Bitcoin. Okay, it's pretty wild, it's pretty choppy, it's a bit of a dangerous zone to trade if you're trading the 1 hour because, again, we are inside this EMA cluster and we have been seeing a lot of movement. This is a lot of volatility for Bitcoin right now. Break over the EMAs, break down, break over, break down, break over, break down, break over. I mean, this is tricky to trade. You know, maybe there's some hyper expert level professional traders that can trade these short-term swings, but this is pretty tough. I think especially if you're a beginner trader trying to catch these moves, like while they're in amongst these EMAs is hard, because if you're trading like this, right, just below or just above the EMAs with this kind of volatility, what the EMAs do is they create a lot of volatility, so you can be getting a lot of crazy wicks. As you can see, we've got a lot of long wicks here, 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 here. You can see it, right? This is not easy to trade, right? So this is ideally you want to be looking at more secure trades, especially if you're like an absolute beginner or beginner. Again, when we get above the point of control, which again here is this orange line, it sits at 87,796, which does also line up in the same way to our 4-hour chart, okay, compared to the 1-hour chart. All right, so again, really we need to be getting out of here, and quite honestly, as you can see, we've had a touch here on the top of the fib zone on the 0 level here at 88,199, so we really want a clear break. So there's some clear room. If we can get a close here, all right, there's some profit to be made basically from here to just below the 200 EMA right here. So we're looking at a potential 0.37% profit with no leverage if we go there. Now, if we go long with, say, perhaps a 3x leverage, we're looking at pretty much a 1% move, okay? Pretty much a 1% move here from here to here, okay? So this is a clean zone because, as you can see here, we don't have any fib profit-taking levels to contend with on the extension, and we also don't have, we're above the point of control, all right? The next resistance level based on the pivot points, the mathematic pivot points, is up here at 95,000. So that's a way off, okay? But it's kind of like, think of it as like the next final boss. The big one right here is, yeah, it's the 200 EMA. Fit in crypto. I'm trying to decide on buying VVS, Lion, or Ali. Okay. Oh, you mean Lion token. What's Ali? Is that a Chronos meme? Let me know what it is, and maybe we can take a bit of a look at it, bro. We can have a bit of a look at the chart, and we can help you get a bit more clarity on it. Because, yeah, you know, even if you're not trading the markets actively, you still want to be entering the market, even if you're dollar cost averaging at good points. You know, you don't want to be top blasting, ideally. You know, I actually had a friend of mine who hadn't ever bought any Bitcoin before, but I'd been telling them about Bitcoin since Bitcoin was about 50K, and they were getting all hyped up, and they messaged me about Bitcoin when Bitcoin was about 123K, and they said, "Look, Satoshi, is this a good time to buy?" And I said, "Look, I mean, you know, I can't say what it's going to do in the coming days, weeks, or months. To be fair, like we could see a big dump down. All right, I didn't think it'd dump this low, to be honest. 87. I thought it wasn't really going to go too much lower than like 90 to 100. But he top blasted, right? So he actually got in at like 123,000, and I'm hoping he's still holding. But look, I said it to him. Look, man, like if you're someone that's just getting into crypto, and this is my advice I give to anyone that's just getting into crypto, first of all, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. These videos are not financial advice, but you know, you want to be putting in money that you definitely are not going to be touching for at least ideally 1 to 2 years, because the odds of you buying Bitcoin and it just going up in a straight line is very unlikely. You know, I don't hold Bitcoin right now. I'm looking to get back into the market at some point, maybe hopefully after some altcoin profit taking, which just never seems to want to come. But basically, you know, I started buying Bitcoin at the lowest price of like $3,000 per Bitcoin in 2017 before we had that pump up. But what I can say is that, you know, I've never ever bought Bitcoin and it's just gone up in a straight line. I've always bought it, it's retraced a bit, but then it's gone up. But time beats everything, you know. And what's cool about Bitcoin is you don't have to actually give it that long. A year is not long, okay, when you can compare it to other traditional asset classes like S&P 500 and so on, okay. But to be fair, in saying that, the stock market has been doing a lot better than at least altcoins for the last year. Certain stocks, anyway. Okay. Guys, 5 people in the stream. Appreciate you all being here. We're going to be checking out the CRO token in a moment. If you're enjoying the stream, you want to support another CRO bro out, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you want to learn a little bit more about trading leverage, trading futures, and if you want to stay tuned with the no bullshit commentary about CRO token and some TA revolved around that, guys. Get involved, okay? So, yeah, again, guys, what I'd say about Bitcoin on the 1 hour, this is like, you know, I'm not saying you can't technically take some trades here, but if we're looking for some conservative entries, at least based on these indicators, it's, you know, it's a little tricky right now. All right. So how about we go into the 15-minute chart for Bitcoin? which is the kind of chart we look more for our entries, even if we're going to get in on more swings, you know, based on the 4-hour or the 1-hour. But yeah, let's just have a look at the 15-minute. Now the 15-minute chart, all right, it is looking a lot better. All right, with the 15-minute chart here, we're getting some pretty sort of juicy movement here above the EMAs, and we are also above the point of control. So the point of control here is 87,287, as we can see here, which is pretty good. And we are well above these EMAs. So this right now, you know, it's actually looking pretty good. And quite frankly, we could have a trade on here for Bitcoin, and this could correlate into CRO, because I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't necessarily say I'd enter here. What we want to see basically from here, okay, to get an entry right here into Bitcoin, all right, we would want to see ideally some kind of retracement down to maybe about here, above this point of control, and then we'd want to look for a move up, okay? So we'd want to see red candle to come down to around about 87.3, okay? So we're a little bit expensive right now. So if I bought this candle here, there's a good chance that we come back down and test this point of control, which has acted as a resistance level, and we can see that proof in real time, because have a look here, guys, right here, okay? We had a firm resistance here, 1, again here, 2, 3, wick through, couldn't break it, 4, wick through, couldn't break it, 4, 5, 6, 7, look at this, 7 attempts right here on the 15-minute chart to break through, and we couldn't do it. I mean, look, to be fair, we did also have the EMAs stacked very closely under it, which could still be putting a bit of pressure on that. And see it right here, we're getting a move down. Just like I said, we're starting to get a better entry now if you're looking to enter, okay? Yeah. So can you see how this point of control, all right, at 87,287 has formed a really strong resistance right here, okay? But finally, we had a big God candle here on the 15-minute. We managed to break out. We managed to hold. And right now, it looks as though there could be a bit of a retesting going on. Okay? Bit of a retesting going on. Okay? Czar Crypto says, quick short to the downside, I reckon. Then a nice reversal, just like you drew it. Nice one, bro. Yeah, look, I mean, definitely, you know, there could definitely be some money to be made here with a quick little short, and then hopefully we test this orange line, I'm thinking, as a new support level here at the point of control, and then that's going to set definitely a bullish precedent on the 15-minute chart here, and hopefully we can move higher and say, like, you know, let's just draw it out just to give a bit of an example here. But ideally, you know, we'd want to buy in, I don't know, the perfect trade would be to buy in here. Alright, let's make it a little less perfect. Let's say we bought in slightly higher, and then we ran it up just to below that resistance 1. Alright, be looking at a good 1.1% trade there, 1.17. Alright, trade that on 5x. We're looking at a, you know, potentially a 5% move there on the 15-minute chart, which is extremely good. Okay, that's going to be extremely good right there. Okay, so not too bad at all. But as you can see, like I said, you know, ideally our entry would want to be pulling back to test this resistance, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, we could still see the next few candles just pop green and just run straight through 88,514. That's also really possible, right? You know, this still might be the good entry, but again, if we're talking conservative and the best approach, we want to wait for a bit of a pullback, all right, and because we want to retest. We want to test the resistance as a newly formed support, and by doing that, we can set our stop loss not too far below. Alright, not too far below. We can even just put it a little bit below the EMAs, meaning that if we do actually get invalidated on a valid entry, then we're going to lose a lot less on the stop loss, and that's what it's all about. Just trying to keep having a lot of little losses till eventually we get, you know, 1 in 5, 1 in 10 that just boom, and we hit a nice take profit, and that should theoretically make up for all of our losses and more. All right, so that's what I'd say about the about Bitcoin on those charts. So let's head on over to CRO and we'll work our way through the chart for CRO, starting on the daily for the Crow token. Got 4 people in the stream. Make sure you do smash the like button for Satoshi Aoki. Okay, got 4 likes on the stream at the moment. Let's try to get this up to 10 likes. I'd really appreciate it, guys. And if you are new here, guys, this is where you're going to come to learn how to trade CRO, learn how to trade Bitcoin, other alts, all right, in a simple manner. We use EMAs here, we use pivot points, we use Fibonacci, and we just try and keep it simple, okay? There are lots of different ways to trade, but we're keeping it simple here. And yeah, this is kind of how we're doing it. All right, if you do want to get involved with your chance to win 1,000th crow, because I'm giving away 1,000 crow every single week, it's super easy to do it. You just got to go on over and deposit at least $200 US. You get a $40 free bonus there that you can trade on futures, make some money, at least one trade on futures, and you're going to be entered into that competition. The link to do it will be in the stream description, and I've also got it in the pinned chat for my stream. So looking at Crow on the daily chart right here, again, we are quite honestly bearish, okay, still, okay. Same deal as Bitcoin, and we're not going to turn bullish for Crow token until we get over the 20 EMA, which is currently sitting right here at 11,518 cents. We got to clear above it, guys, and then soon after that, beyond that, we got 11,737 cents, which is the 0.382 fib extension level, where there is going to be a lot of profit taking in that zone. So quite honestly, we want to be able to clear, we want to get up to 11,856, okay, and then we could be looking at a nice clean move here. All right, a nice 5% move to take us to the next profit taking level here, okay, which is where we could potentially get to. There's going to be some resistance and support going on between that on the lower time frames, but that's essentially what we're looking at there. All right, when we just cut away the BS there. All right, just a real quick look into that. Okay, so let's bring it down to the 4-hour chart for CRO now and have a bit of a look. So on the 4-hour, we're actually looking pretty nice, okay? So just as good as Bitcoin, actually probably even better than Bitcoin, because unlike Bitcoin, because I think with Bitcoin on the 4-hour, I don't know if we had the 50, no we didn't. So on the 4-hour with Bitcoin, we're battling to just hold the 20, okay? But with Crow token, not only have we been closing basically since the 24th of November, we have been closing firmly above not only the 20, but also the 50 EMA, meaning the 20 EMA, the red line, the 50 EMA, the orange line. We've been closing above it since the 24th of November. See here. See all these candles here? We've had a few wicks down, but what's important is we've been closing above it. Okay, so this is great. We want to be spending time above these, and we've also got the 100 EMA for Crow, which is currently sitting at 11,300. All right, since slowly it's on a downtrend, as we can see. We zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it's on a downtrend. All right, that's coming down, but the actual price action is like consolidating, slowly coming up, at least from this point here, which is what we want to see. So the next major resistance to take out is right here, okay, 11,301, and that from our price here is looking at roughly a 3% move. Okay, trade that on 5x. We're looking at 15%, which, hey, that's not bad. And quite honestly, you know, this is looking pretty attractive to potentially get into a swing trade soon for CRO token. So actually, I'm kind of enjoying. I'm kind of enjoying the price action here. There is one resistance level which we're dealing with now, which is the 0.236 fib level here on the fib extension. All right, we have struggled to stay above that, as you can see here, these 4 candles here. But yeah, if we can get a bit more of a firm close over that, then we could be in business. You know, we could be in business. All right, so that's Crow token on the good old 4-hourly. Let's jump into the 1-hourly, where we're looking absolutely fantastic, guys, on the 1-hour, and I'll tell you exactly why. All right, so right here we have previously just closed this candle here comfortably above. All right, it's not an incredible candle close, but it's not too bad, and we've closed above this EMA, the 20, and we're sitting above all the other EMAs. We're sitting above them all for Crow token right here. the 200, the 100, and the 50. So I'm telling you right now, guys, CRO token on the 1 hour chart is looking really nice. Really, really nice. The next resistance zone, we're probably going to see if it hits the resistance zone at 11,017 pretty damn soon. It's here, okay? Last time we tried to test it was here just a few hours ago, and we got rejected hard, and we actually fell under the 20 EMA for some time before working our way back up. So the question really is now, is that what's going to happen when we touch this line right here? Are we going to get rejected again? Or is this going to be the time where we can actually make a break to the upside, similar to what happened here, okay, where we actually broke through here. This was on the 25th, so 2 days ago we broke through, went down, consolidated for a bit, but we did have one wick where we actually got to 11,140 cents there for CRO token. Guys, 5 people in the stream. If you like the CRO fam, you like the new CRO Bro stream, where we do raw, honest, unbiased TA on CRO and CRO news, no BS, then please do smash the like button. It would really help me out. I want to try to keep these streams going every single night. If you're someone that wants, again, the raw, unbiased information, you want to know if it's a good time to buy CRO, then you should subscribe to this stream, because I'm going to be telling you every single day, is it a good time to buy CRO, whether you're a hodler, long, short, medium term trader, absolute beginner to advanced. All right, this is where it's at. All right, and I'm telling you right now that we're getting pretty close to a potential buy for CRO. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now that on the 1 hour chart, you could actually look at buying CRO here in a conservative manner. Well, sorry, not a conservative manner. It would be a risky entry. Ideally, you'd want to buy it at around 10,928, which is coming up to that point right now. See how it's going for a bit of a retest? So we've broken through, and this is the confirmation candle on the hourly. So if you're on the more conservative end, this is kind of where we want to be. We want to be buying in at this price. But what we don't want to see is we don't want to see if I can give you an example. We don't want to see this right here, this kind of business, all right, happening right now. See this here, this kind of stuff? If we see a candle like that, especially if it closes, but more so if it just wicks through, right? Like this right here. If we get like a wick through like that, sorry, see how it wicks through there? And see how it has wicked through a little bit? It's not really great. It's not a big wick through. I wouldn't say it's a cause for concern, but it's the start of it, okay? See how we're getting a lot of buy pressure off this 1 hour as well. So can you see even just there, right? Had we have just bought there, right, on the 20 EMA, if we set up a limit order or something like that, you could have just taken a profit right there. You understand what I'm saying? The power of these EMAs, it's real, right? Even if we just work that up, I think what do we get to about there? Yeah? We would have been looking at a 0.38% if we entered that with a 5x leverage, okay? Then, guys, that's like a 1% trade in and out in, how long was that? Like 15 seconds, okay? So that's the power of understanding the EMAs right here, okay? Now, if we were to go into this trade on CRO token in a more conservative manner, we would really, I know it's boring. I know it's like, you know, I've had to learn this the hard way myself as a trader. You know, patience, you know, it's about patience. It's about, I'm not saying that there's not a place for scalp trading, but I think especially in the beginning, it's about patience. It's about waiting longer than what you think for a good entry, so that you can set up a good entry. Means a good stop loss close to an invalidation level, so that if you do lose on your stop loss and you're following your strategy, you're not going to lose a lot, okay? And then you can wait. No matter if you win or you lose, you can wait and look to re-enter a second position. Eventually you're going to get that win, all right? But what we would be looking for here, really, to go conservative here, is waiting 54 minutes, because it's 12:05 where I am now, midnight. But 54 minutes, this candle closes, yeah? So if this candle, say, closes right here, green, that's perfect. What that means is bulls are in control right now on the 1 hourly chart. We had this green candle here, which was the breakout candle, okay? But the reason why on the 1 hour chart we don't necessarily want to buy in there is because that could quite easily be a fake out, okay? Meaning, let me see if I can give you an example of a fake out that would have happened here. Here's a good example right here. So let me just get rid of these so it doesn't confuse. So this is a good example of a fake out for CRO token. Let me show you. See this candle right here? We had we had a breakthrough confirmation, here, but then look what happened. Straight after this second candle here, we broke down, and then we broke down further, all the way to here, right? So let me tell you, like, you know, this was basically, you know, if we had entered there on the breakout close, you know, and we didn't have a stop loss, we would have had to take that for a 1.59% ride. We wouldn't have had a stop loss. We would have had a stop loss on, right? We would have had a stop loss probably somewhere here, so we wouldn't have taken that loss. But it's just to show you that just because we get a breakout candle like that and it closes just like this one here, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the bulls have taken control, okay? Specifically for CRO token here. Alright, how many likes we got on the stream? 5 likes. Appreciate it, guys. Let's try to get the stream up to 10 likes, guys. Come on, we can get 10 likes on this stream going. For the CRO Bros, guys. Remember, guys, channel partner, Bitunix, got a limited time offer, 20% deposit bonus. Deposit 200 bucks, get 40 bucks back. Deposit 2,000 bucks, get 400 back to trade with. The link is in the chat, pinned at the top there, and in the stream description. And you'll also go in the running for 1,000 CRO, which I'm giving away every single Friday based on your user ID for signing up with the only official channel partner here for the Satoshi Aoki YouTube channel. That is Bitunix, guys. Alright, so go ahead and get signed up now. Alright, so what it is, guys, now again, you know, I'm seeing this green candle going up, and emotionally I'm like, shit, I want to get in on this trade. But you know, you got to say to yourself, look, if we're going conservative, which in my opinion, if you're absolute beginner, especially if you're trading leverage, you wanna give yourself the best chance to have a winning trade, and a lot of the times that does mean just going in patiently. Okay, so as I said, I know it's boring, but we've got 50 minutes left in the candle. We want to wait this candle out, see how this goes. You understand? Because the thing is, this candle right here could easily break down and we could lose the 20 EMA, this red line here. If we lose the 20 EMA, we're kind of back in the EMA cluster between the 50 and the 20, and then that invalidates the trade, in my opinion, for like a 5x long or something like that. Okay, but it's looking pretty good on the 1 hour, okay, but I'd want to see a bit more confirmation, alright. Also as well, if we look a little bit further back as well, we are seeing a very slight downtrend, okay? And what I wanted to also show you as well, if we go back, alright, we spoke about CRO token here, and I said, look, you know, on my previous stream, I said, look, this is basically, let's grow crazy, QBA676, please show your love, bro, by liking the stream, sharing with all your friends, turning notification bells on, and make sure you get signed up to Bitunix and enter in the CRO, 1000 CRO giveaway by signing up to Bitunix, guys. Come and trade here, deposit 200 bucks, get 40 bucks back, and enter into the 1000 CRO giveaway every single week. Alright, so what I said in the last stream talking about CRO token is that this was the line we needed to hold, this green line right here, and guess what, guys, we did hold it. We held that green line very nicely, and what I said is that once we break above this green zone here, this is the profit zone here, and look at this, guys, this is the line I drew out, and it was actually based on a double top rejection here, which played out perfectly. I said, look, there's two plays here for take profit. Alright, this is our confirmation line. This is the green line I drew out here. Alright, it's the confirmation line. So that was at what? 10,800 cents. We broke above that, okay? We broke above that, so that essentially would have been, for anyone that took that trade, that basically happened just after the stream closed, and I went to bed, unfortunately, and then I saw it the next morning. I was like, damn, it actually played out how, like I said, but I went to sleep and I didn't have the confirmation, so I didn't get in the trade. But if we had run that all the way up to that first zone, damn, we would have been looking at a 3% gain on CRO had that played out, guys, okay? And guys, I drew this green line here, okay? The reason I drew that as the first take profit zone is because it aligned with this top that we had back here on the 23rd, okay? And we did have a bit of a double top play out. You could possibly argue that this formation here is a reverse cup formation, okay? I think that's what it's called. But really after that, what we've been seeing is from here to here, we're kind of like, you know, we are in a bit of a a lower high downtrend here. Okay, we're in a bit of a lower high downtrend here, and the actual lows are a bit all over the place. Okay, so it's kind of messy. It's kind of messy when we're in the 1 hour for CRO, but we are testing. The bulls are testing getting back into control right now. All right, so it just makes it even more important that we'd really want to wait another 48 minutes before sinking our teeth into this trade potentially. All right. So let's go into the 15-minute. Okay, have a bit of a look. So on the 15-minute chart, guys, we're looking better than the 1 hour, but still a little dicey. But as you can see here on the 15-minute, same deal. So we had a breakout here, we had a confirmation here, we had a retest here, which was like way more than a retest because we broke down and only found support at the 200 EMA, and then after that it just ended up finishing above all the EMAs pretty much, and then just shot back up and hit resistance at this fib level here. So this is really, yeah, which again could align with a bit of another double top here as well. So this is the line to get above right here, alright, which is kind of like, damn, that is like 11 cents on the dot. So we need to get above 11 cents for CRO. If we can get above 11 cents for CRO, then I don't see that much standing in the way, and we could be looking at a nice little trade to the upside. But I'm not really seeing an entry just yet. I'm not seeing an entry just yet. If I was looking for a short, you know, we'd be looking more towards a potential short rejection here. All right. But I think markets are looking pretty solid right now. Let's go back and have a bit of a quick look at what Bitcoin's doing. Okay. Can have a bit of a look-see here. Actually, no, I don't want that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, and let's get rid of this. Okay, so Bitcoin's shooting up, guys. We're at 87,877. We're testing, maybe we're testing a double top here. Okay, we've got a resistance zone here on the fib. All right, this grey line right here. Okay, but really the next major resistance is, it's up here, guys, at 88514. All right, we go back out to the 1 hour. Let's just see if anything's ahead. Okay, again, folks, we need to really break above this zone right here. We've got to break above this zone, this blue level right here, guys. Bitcoin's looking alright, but we need to break above 88,000 right now. That is kind of like a pretty important level to break above. Okay. Okay, let's go over back to CRO. Just gonna have a little drink, guys. And guys, whoever's in the stream now, got 4 people watching, make sure you smash the like button. Let me know if there's any tokens on Chronos, guys. Is there any Chronos tokens you want me to check out? Is there any other altcoins you want me to check out? We've gone through and we've done our technical analysis on CRO token, on Bitcoin at the moment, on the time frames, using the pivot points, the EMAs, the Fibonacci's, okay? Doing the different time zones. We're looking for a potential entry, guys. I will be entering live trades here, guys, using my tester account here on Bitunix, guys. All right, and yeah, so right now, for example, you know, I can bring up, we can go over to futures, we can bring up CRO. So I really want to try and enter a CRO trade, you know, so I can go over here. We can trade anything on here, folks, but I'm going to be looking to enter a CRO trade. Hasn't quite hit the price I would like. Unfortunately, the last stream we did, we just missed out on a perfect entry based on the setups. If you would have seen that last stream, you would have seen that it would have been an incredible entry, but you know, we didn't quite get it, unfortunately. You know, but CRO is definitely one that can be traded here. All right. Yeah, I'm also going to be setting up a Telegram group pretty soon, guys, where there's going to be a channel on there with notifications and just a place where we can just chat with the Crow fam. And like, if you're someone that's clicked on this video because you're like, yeah, I buy Crow, I'm invested in Crow, but why am I watching this guy, Satoshi, on YouTube? Well, I bring you the raw data, guys. I bring you the data, the facts, the news, the TA, just how it's written. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything like that, okay? And yeah, if you're wondering, like, is it a good time to buy and dollar cost average CRO right now? I think it is, guys. I think personally we have bottomed in the market for CRO, and I think it's a good time to buy a stack. And yeah, guys, feel free to say hi in the chat. You want me to check out any, memes or anything else, Chronos related projects, even if it's other altcoins, please let me know. So let's just go back, have a bit of a quick look at the 15-minute chart for CRO again. Alright, you can see how this is acting as a resistance right now. See this level here, this grey line. This is called the auto fib extension indicator, okay? You can access this for free on TradingView as well. Don't need to pay for this, but it basically gives, see all of these lines, right? See this line, I don't want to overcomplicate it, right? You don't have to draw this out. This automatically does it. That's why it's called auto fib extension 10, right? Draws a line, all these different lines, okay? Right now, as you can see, this is the current 15-minute candle. If we go back to the previous 15-minute candle, you can see right here, check it out. Guys, it's not a coincidence that we got a fat rejection, okay? We had a massive run up. Look at this massive run, like from top to bottom, guys. This move on the last 15-minute candle was a 0.74% move. Like, that's kind of crazy, don't you think? Don't you think that's a bit wild? Just for one 15-minute candle, like that's kind of insane right there. So what I'm seeing here right now is I'm seeing, the thing is, technically we broke out. Alright, again, the line we're looking to hold here is the point of control. Alright, this orange line here. Alright, we're looking to hold the point of control. Technically we broke out here, but then we closed below it, so that's called a fake out. That was a failed breakout. And then we set a green candle with huge volatility, but in the end we failed to even break out. But then on the next candle we got a breakout candle. So right now this is kind of like a breakout candle right now. So really, again, we want to be waiting 11 minutes. We want this to close right here or slightly higher. Then we want another candle close above this orange line, and really actually above the red line, just to really set it home. We want it to be above the red line because that's obviously going to clear the orange line that's stacked on top. We've got all the EMAs underneath us right here, okay? All of the EMAs underneath us, meaning that, all of the heavy resistance is done. So quite frankly, on the 15-minute chart, we could be looking at getting an entry into CRO on the 15-minute chart pretty soon, alright? So ideally, I'd want an entry somewhere around here. See how we're losing a bit of control here? Alright, we'll see how this closes, but right, ideally we want an entry somewhere here. And then if we got an entry somewhere there, we'd be able to look at popping a stop loss. Maybe if we wanted to set it a bit wider, we could go above, just below these three EMAs right there, so somewhere here. Alright, so for example, if we, I don't know, got an entry there, right, to the stop loss, I don't know, about there, be looking at a 0.56% drop to the downside. Okay, but with leverage though, say we did, I don't know, 3x leverage, we'd be looking at about 1.8, about 1.8% drop. Okay, so that's what it is, guys, for CRO. That's how the shorter time frame is kind of looking there for CRO. Alright, guys. So look, I appreciate everyone that's jumped in the stream today, guys. Yeah, right now, still got a little bit to wait. We could be looking at a potential entry for CRO pretty soon, but not yet. For Bitcoin, go back to the 15-minute again. Yeah, again, the 15 minutes not looking bad, but we still need, we're kind of a bit late to jump into a long. Okay, we'll be looking potentially more a bit of a short, potentially looking more at a short than a long right now. Okay, for Bitcoin specifically. Alright, so yeah, not looking at an entry there just yet. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Who knows, I might enter a trade tomorrow. I might have that live on the stream, let's see. But just to leave you with that, guys, again, remember, if you want to go into the draw to win 1,000 CRO, giving away 1,000 CRO every single week, get signed up to Bitunix, deposit 200 bucks, get 40 back, deposit 2,000, get 400 back. Trade on futures, guys. Put on a few leverage trades. Trade smart. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. No KYC, no VPN. Best exchange for Americans and Europeans, hands down. This is where you want to be trading, guys. Best spreads. You can trade your dog coins, meme coins, all of that. But this is where you can trade CRO, BTC, get that money. So you get that bonus, guys. Get that 20% bonus, free money to trade with, and you keep the money you make from it. Plus, you can go into the winning every week to potentially win 1,000 CRO. So what are you waiting for? Go get signed up to do it. The link will be in the top of the chat, in the pinned chat, and also it's going to be in the description of this stream if you want to jump in and have a look at that as well. So if we go back to have a bit of a look at CRO before we tune out, you know, we can see we've had a little wick that's stuck through here, which is not really what you want to see. We want to see a bit more power than that. But yeah, we've got some strong price action. Obviously, you know, what's good is that even though BTC is having quite a red wick here, sorry, a red candle on the 15-minute, CRO is not. I mean, kind of is following it a bit, but we still got a green candle on CRO, which is nice. If we go over and have a look at Zcash, guys, I don't know, man. Zcash, I think it is a bit risky, but I feel like Zcash for a spot buy, definitely at 516, this is pretty solid, man, because we have basically gotten up to $752. So even on a spot buy, damn boy, that's a 45% run. That's a 45% retracement for Zcash. It's an attractive point. And you know what else is really interesting here is it's actually being held nicely on this little level here, the 200 EMA right there. So this is looking real interesting. Obviously, you know, it would have been more ideal to buy down the bottom here because we're coming up to a test of the 20 EMA, which, you know, we could be looking at a bit of resistance there. So really the ideal buy zone would be there at $500 or slightly below it. But hey, come on, like for a spot buy, 517 isn't bad for Zcash. You know, Zcash right here is potentially a really good buy. All right, I'm telling you right now, you're just trading spot. Zcash is looking hot. I'm telling you right now, guys. You know, we need to break above these EMAs. We can get above sort of 562 on the EMAs. 563, that's going to break the EMAs. Point of control, sitting at 622. Break above 622. And we're starting to look really good for that run up. And because the next resistance is going to be at 710. So that's how you could play this a little bit more conservatively. Unfortunately, we can't trade Zcash on Bitunix. Alright, but you can on MEXC. Okay, you can on MEXC. Alright, guys, if you just jumped in the stream, please remember to smash the like button. And don't forget to get signed up to Bitunix to win 1,000 CRO every week. And yeah, get a 20% sign up bonus. Let's get it going. Oh, and would you have a look at this now? CRO is having a really strong breakout candle right here. Look at this. Look at this right now. And I bet you BTC's, yep, it's happening. Here we go. Oh, here we go, guys. We're watching the move in real time. BTC is at a really important point right now. We are blasting through. Look at that. Actually, we got on the 24th, which was just a few days ago. Look at that. We got up to 89k. Hit a major resistance at 89k. But we are back in control right now, let me tell you. So this is just like a prime example. You wouldn't want to buy this right here. This is not something that, well, this is not something you would want to long or short really, because it's in no man's land right now, right? Like if you got into this trade, good on you. You should be looking to ride this up to 88,514 at this stage. Okay, so you'd be looking to take profit there, and depending where you got in, you might be looking to move your stop loss up to maybe at least a break even, or potentially into a small profit, you know. But yeah, this is in a pretty good spot right now, and it's yeah, BTC is working its way up here. Alright guys, I'm going to tune that out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.